And for a 9 o'clock game, you guys seemed awful sharp and ready to go.
Well, I think for a number of reasons. We had a lot of respect for the Michigan program. They beat us at home, so obviously that has your attention. Coming off a spectacular performance here against Michigan State. And I felt like, if you're not locked in, Dickinson's going to have a big night. They're going to get downhill. They've got some guys that are really shooting the ball well right now. Houston, Brooks in particular. So I felt like it was important, at least defensively and on the glass, to be ready to go. And then we made some shots early. That always helps.
What was the strategy in guarding Dickinson and Diabate in the first half? They really struggled compared to the first matchup.
Well, I thought we did a better job of defending them before they got it. And then, we came with some double teams that were a little more connected, I think, maybe than they were the last time. It's one thing to double him, but he's a good passer. Like, he'll find people, so, okay, where's he throwing it? Can you deflect it? Can you make sure you're there on the catch and you're not late? You make sure you don't have two guys run to one and they make one more, and they're, Houston's getting 4 threes out of the corner. So I thought our when you talk about being connected, that's what you mean. If you're doubling, you got 3 guarding 4. Well, you better figure it out, or else they're going to pick you apart.
Do you feel like your team is kind of peaking at the right time here as you get toward the tournament time?
No, I think we're playing really well. I think we're playing hard. I think we're getting good play from a lot of different people. And the one thing that we'll always do is move and share the ball. They played a lot of man. They played a lot of the matchup. So that changes some things in terms of movement and screening and cutting. But I thought, for the most part, we stayed confident. They made, they're going to make a run. They made a run. But we got enough stops and we got enough buckets to hold them off.
I believe Chris Murray hadn't scored a first half point in his last 4 games. Tonight he was sharp from the get-go at both ends of the court. Could you expound on that?
Well, I think the thing that really is important for him and was important tonight is, he stayed out of foul trouble. And he really worked, whether he was guarding Dickinson or Diabate. You got to play those guys before they get it. He's moving his feet. He's over toward the ball. He's anticipating action and using his length. So we were able to play him 26 minutes because he wasn't foul trouble.
Connor had a big stop on that defensive play late when they were cutting into that lead. How important was that play?
Well, he did a number of things, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't go back to Patrick or anybody else. I just left them out there because they were running some unique action against our zone that you better get it figured out, or they're going to burn you. And he's got it all figured out. He's telling everybody where to go, and then we really needed to stop there when he got that steal, and we got a big miss the one time because he was in there and we were contesting. I think Chris got the rebound, but it comes down to making sure nobody's wide open. We're not chopping them. They were in the bonus. You make them use some clock, make them take a tough 2, and get the rebound. And that's what he was great.
It seemed like throughout the second half, it was Michigan on the doorstep of making a run, your team making plays to kind of keep them at bay. Kind of how can you explain how they made big plays?
Well, we didn't
like
panic. You knew they were going to keep coming. It's a really good team with really good players and great coaching staff. I look forward to seeing Juwan in Indianapolis. Look forward to seeing him back. But we kind of kept it for a good portion of the second half over 10. And then it was 7 minutes. It went under 10. Okay, well now it's it's manageable. It's 3 possessions. Can we get enough stops? Can we get enough scores? Because at that point, as you know, we were not in the bonus. So they could be physical, and we're not shooting 1-on-1. So we had to be strong with the ball.
Patrick was questionable coming into this. Did you get what you thought out of him?
Well, I'm glad we got 4 points and 4 rebounds from him early. He didn't look like himself completely in the second half, and we need him moving forward. So I didn't feel like it was worth going back to him, especially with what Connor was bringing to the table. And I thought Tony had a really good second half. Really good game, but I thought, well, he was really good in the second half.
Can you expound on Tony? Because he just kept, he had 7 points in a row at one point.
Well, he impacts the game in a lot of ways, and he's a competitor, so he's going to keep coming. And you know, early on, when you're a young player, sometimes you miss a shot, or you turn the ball over, you make a mistake, you let it linger, and he's beyond that now. You know, he's going to make a mistake. He's going to miss a shot. Go do something good, steal the ball, get a rebound, drive the ball, get to the free throw line, make a shot. I think he's in a really good place right now, Tony.
This is 5 straight double-digit wins in this conference. This is pretty heady stuff. How have you gotten here?
Well, you know, I don't think it's you know, really complicated. I think I said that to you. You asked me something along those lines a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple games ago. It's like, you know, you got to compete defensively. You got to compete on the glass. You got to take care of the ball. You got to move the ball and share the ball. Everybody's got to be ready. You know, whoever you put in, it's got to be ready to produce. And if they're not scoring, can they affect the game positively in other ways? And that's the team we have. You know, and we got a lot of guys doing that, and they're really, really supportive of each other.
To go off of that a little bit, you've always had deep teams, but is this the most productive
By far.
team?
By far the deepest, most productive, and you know, not knowing from game to game who's necessarily going to be out there at crunch time. That's been different multiple games this year.
We've hardly mentioned Keegan. And
Well, you know, the start that he got off on, I
Yeah.
think, was impactful to everybody else's ability to do what they did,
yeah,
without question. And the great thing about him is he doesn't hunt shots. He's not a selfish guy. And he made a really nice driving kick the one time. That was maybe the biggest play of the game was a play he made off the dribble for somebody else.
You said that, you know, this is a team where you don't know game to game who's going to contribute in the clutch. Can you kind of explain the process of building up a team to where you can have so many players who you can depend on, you know, late in games, especially on the road like this?
Well, what I typically try to do is develop confidence individually in each guy by not micromanaging their game. You should have drove it. You should have shot it. You should have passed it. You know, you should have doubled. Why didn't you double? Why didn't you drive it? You know, it's like, I want you to think for yourself if you're playing for me. Think for yourself. Go make a play. I don't expect perfection. It's not a game of perfect. So if you make a mistake, run back, guard your man, don't let him score. It's no more complicated than that.
Everybody good?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
thanks,
guys.
Fran.
We'll